time. I know we've talked about a lot already, but right now thousands of Connecticut families really dealing with the reality that their kids are going to be home from school and parents feel like they can't miss a paycheck. What is your message to them?
The Senate should approve an emergency coronavirus package right now. Literally today, it can do it by unanimous consent, and then they will know. They will have emergency sick leave, full pay, if they have to stay home when they're sick, or their kids are sick, or their employers say that they have to be at home. This kind of emergency leave is essential, plus strengthened unemployment compensation and aid for the small businesses, tax credits that will enable them to continue employing people here in Connecticut.
If the Senate votes on that legislation Monday, how quickly will people see the benefits of that?
Almost immediately. People in Connecticut will see immediate benefits in paid sick leave for them and their families, for tax credits to small businesses, for strengthened unemployment compensation. These benefits, plus $440 million in Medicaid support, will be available right away.
What do you say to constituents who are scratching their heads trying to figure out why the Senate was not in session over the weekend? Did the Senate drop the ball here? Did Mitch McConnell drop the ball?
Mitch McConnell refused, absolutely refused, to keep the Senate in session. And he, unfortunately, failed to do the vote right away. But he can do it by unanimous consent, literally at this moment. And I'm going to Washington today and insist that we do it today, because that will provide relief to Connecticut workers and their families and small businesses. Here is the very uncomfortable truth. People are making life and death decisions right now about whether to keep their kids home from school, whether to stay home themselves from work, whether to continue in business, whether the kinds of life they have seen for almost all the time they have had families will continue. And that kind of life and death decision really matters.
So much talk of testing. Can you offer any kind of peace of mind to people in Connecticut when it comes to getting tested?
The federal government has been lagging and lacking in providing these tests. I have complained and urged for weeks that they do better. I hope that this week or soon there will be many more tests available, but the promises we have seen from the CDC and other federal agencies and from the White House have been unmet.
We have seen some European countries take a very strong stance requiring people to stay home, fining them if they don't. Is that something that you envision here? Would it even be doable?
I think the kind of mass draconian containment that we've seen in other countries, mainly China and Italy, are unworkable here in terms of civil rights and liberties. Anything like it, I think, can be avoided if we really act as stewards for each other and adopt common sense measures like hand washing and staying away from crowds.
So what do you say to people in this Hartford neighborhood we're in right now, where I'm seeing people out at restaurants and out as if it's any bright sunny Sunday?
People should see the soaring numbers in Italy and that we saw in China, not just infection, but death, and know that our hospitals right now have insufficient ventilators and IC units to handle the kind of exponential growth that could result if we fail to respect social distancing, hand washing, and particularly taking care of the most vulnerable, our seniors. But if they adopt those kinds of procedures, we can avoid those kinds of fatalities and the social measures that may be more draconian.
And then lastly, Senator, I guess your message to people, there are a lot of people out there who are panicking, who are really scared about the situation we're in right now. Is there a bright spot in all of this? What is your message to them?
We're the United States of America. We can provide those tests that are necessary, the hospital beds and the ventilators that may be necessary, and we will conquer this threat. The sooner that we adopt responsible stewardship for each other, hand washing, social distancing, the more likely it is, without the kinds of deaths and other kinds of damage that will be so consequential. But facts defeat fear. Prevention overcomes panic. And as long as we move forward responsibly, there is light at the end of the tunnel.
What's your message to the moms and dads who are scrambling and have a brand new routine with their kids come Monday morning?
There's emergency sick leave and family and medical leave for moms and dads, and hopefully other facilities that may be made available on an emergency basis, unemployment compensation, aid for small businesses. All of these kinds of steps are part of the federal response. But make no mistake, there needs to be a next package, not only for those families and workers, but for small businesses.
Senator Murphy said today that we could spend in the trillions. Do you think that's a reality here?
I think trillions is a potential reality, and we need to face the kinds of financial challenges that will be required. But remember, we are spending nearly $1 trillion on our national defense. This challenge to our health is every bit as dire and potentially dangerous as any threat to our national security from abroad.
I appreciate you letting me